Man, being a dog sure is great. Free rides and food whenever you want, not to mention you can poop anywhere without any consequences, while also having crazy game with every white woman you meet. Unfortunately though, since I'm somewhat of a human and my fursuit is at the dry cleaners, my only option for living that carefree life is video games. Thankfully, the masterminds at Sony are here to deliver the ultimate good boy experience with Dog's Life, an action-adventure game developed by Frontier Developments and released for the PlayStation 2 back in 2003. Finally, a game where you play as a dog and do all the classic dog stuff, like eating your own shit in front of your very annoyed owner. But don't worry, as this game is more silly than gross, as it's geared towards little kids. Despite that, however, there is an incredibly dark twist to this game that could easily turn it into a PG-13 horror show. And with that intriguing yet highly disturbing bombshell, let's dive into Dog's Life and see what it really means to live in a dog-eat-dog world.
Being human can get boring. Why not take a break? Be a dog. Ever wondered what it's like to be man's best friend? No school, no chores, no manners. Get inside the mind of Jake and take control of a new canine superstar. In the hilarious, tail-wagging, trail-sniffing, leg-lifting adventure of a lifetime, Dog's Life.
Hi, I'm Jake.
Be Jake, the coolest pooch in the pack, as you travel across the USA in search of a missing friend and a mysterious dog napper with a fiendish plan.
Less talk, more action.
Do anything a dog can do.
Look out! Dog poo!
Yes, sniff my butt. This dog is bad.
Take control of your favorite breeds.
Wow, I feel like an action hero in a console game.
And test your canine skills on a kennel load of mini-games. Run, dig, swim, beg, chase, herd, fetch, mark territory, even foul the streets.
At last, a peeing game.
Featuring acres of free-roaming gameplay.
I feel the need to feed.
Dog catcher!
And the revolutionary smell-o-vision tracking system that lets you see the world just like a dog, in smells.
Essence of dead rat. Move over, Rover, and let Jake take over.
Dog's Life. Four-legged fun and games unleashed on your PS2 soon.
Remember the 101 Dalmatians? Yeah, the plot and the characters here are pretty much the same. Our story begins in Clarksville, located in Hicktown, USA. Jake is the protagonist here, and according to Wikipedia, he's a flatulent American foxhound. There is a reason I'm mentioning this, as it will become a crucial plot point later, and I'm not even fucking kidding. Anyway, Jake tries to impress his crush Daisy with his superb display of ripping ass. Honestly, a relatable way of getting pussy. But instead of getting a restraining order, Jake watches Daisy as she walks away unimpressed into a trap. She gets grabbed by bootleg Jasper and Horace and they drive off, with Jake almost getting captured himself, but luckily escaping with his life. Now it's up to us to save Daisy from the dog catchers and uncover the sinister plot behind this act. How do we achieve this, you ask? Well, we're not Serious Sam here, we're just a damn dog, so you can imagine what the adventure entails. Finding bones and entering competitions with other dogs, while following Daisy's trail and avoiding the town's dreaded dog catcher and his Doberman called Killer. Couldn't he have named him something more inconspicuous, like Murderfucker? Anyway, after an ungodly number of minigames and sniffing around, we discover the true villain of the story, Miss Peaches, who is the CEO of the cat food company and the orchestrator of all the dog nappings. Her brilliant plan is to smuggle all the dogs into the company's factory and turn them into cat food. The final levels of the game are the dog pound and the factory, which pretty much look like hell on earth. I don't get it. The entirety of the game was a happy-go-lucky adventure, with funny characters and slapstick comedy. Why are we in Postal 1 all of a sudden? Oh well, we save the captured dogs and bribe Killer with our impressive stash of bones, gaining entry to the factory where Daisy is. Time is of the essence here, because if you fail to rescue Daisy, well, you can imagine what happens next. Actually, you don't even have to imagine. The game fucking shows you anyway. Nothing explicit or violent, but still nothing a kid should bear witness to. And the best part is without a doubt the ending itself. Miss Peaches appears out of nowhere with a loaded shotgun, ready to blow our brains out. Thankfully though, Jake unleashes a devastating fart attack, knocking Miss Peaches off, right into Germa's meat grinder. What happens next is nothing short of insanity itself. We watch as Miss Peaches screams in pain and terror as he gets sliced and diced into oblivion.
I'll get you for this, you horrible hounds! I'll track you down! I'll slash you! I'll dash you! I'll mash you! If it's the last thing you see me...
Slicing, dicing, mashing. Miss Peaches is cat food.
She is now cat food, and the story ends with Jake and Daisy as a couple, living happily ever after. Holy fuck, dude, where to even begin with this? How in God's name did this game get a 3+ rating? This is the most brutal ending I've ever seen to a kid's game in my life. But you know what? I kinda like it. I'm so sick of bad guys in sad stories getting away scot-free or with a simple slap to the wrist. Miss Peaches got precisely what she deserved, no question about it. But this is the kind of stuff that traumatizes a kid for life. And it's even weirder because the rest of the story is just your standard Disney-styled adventure, with the same characters and plot points. Was this meant to be a cruel joke, or did they hire a serial killer to write the game's story? In any case, it's weird, it makes me sick, and I don't want to talk about it any further. So let's just move on, alright? Regarding the presentation, Dog's Life looks very charming overall, but there's nothing really special about it. At least it's a pleasant game to look at, with vibrant colors and beautiful landscapes. There is a nice variety of levels as well, featuring the countryside, freezing cold mountains, the bustling city, and the hellish depths of Purgatory itself. Besides the final level, everything looks quaint and vivid, perfect for a kid's game. The cartoony art style also helps the game stand the test of time and mask its low-quality textures. Nothing that will blow your mind with its photorealism, but it does a good job of immersing you with its unique atmosphere. While the textures and the environments are fine for what they are, the models are simply awful. I have no idea what they were going for, but it looks so bad. Just look at the characters here, their textures are muddy, their polygon count is way too low, and the art direction makes them look like skinwalkers. Fortunately, the animals look a little better, but not by a lot, as Jake looks absolutely blasted on anus. That's the dog equivalent to catnip, by the way. You learn something new every day. Anyway, judging by the atrocious human models, I'm guessing the game was indeed developed by dogs, but thankfully they had pretty good taste in music, as the soundtrack is better than I expected. Don't get me wrong, you're not gonna be listening to explosive metal while taking a shit on your neighbor's lawn, but what we have here complements the overall vibe of the experience quite nicely. It reminds me of the Sims games for some reason, which I guess is a compliment? In any case, there are plenty of chill compositions for the quieter and more serene parts of the game, while the city levels have more funky beats to them. And of course, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the final level and its horrifying combination of droning ambience and the screams of the damned. This is a funny kids game where you play as a pee-pee poo-poo dog. Did I mention that already? Okay, despite that, I'd say Dog's Life has a nice playful vibe to it. While the characters are terrifying, the rest of the game is quite cheerful, with a visually distinct world and smooth animations. Couple that with a soundtrack, the comedic voice acting and the cartoony aesthetic, and you have a light-hearted adventure perfect for the whole family. Until the ending, that is. Playing Dog's Life is kinda like taking your dog for a walk. Unwieldy as fuck and full of farting and barking. But first things first. This is a collectathon with action-adventure and platforming elements. We need 90 bones to get past Killer and enter the game's final challenge. But how do we collect these juicy bones? Well, many of them can be found in the wild, and we can either dig them out, explore the world, or do side quests, which essentially boil down to fetching various things for humans. Man, imagine asking a dog to help you make a snowman. These people must be zonked out of their minds. But yeah, the side quests are kinda tedious and can drag on for a while, as they are pretty much the same with different variations. But the exploration is fantastic and by far my favorite part of the game. We have 3 areas we can explore: the town of Clarksville, Lake Minnewawa, and Boom City. Each of them is a hub with different levels we can explore that connect to each other, so there is actually a surprisingly in-depth open world system to the adventure. Now, besides the side quests and the hidden bones, the meat of the game is collecting smells to be able to complete challenges and learn new tricks. Yep, you heard me right. This game is 90% smelling for stuff, 10% fucking around in the open world. They loved the smelling idea so much actually, that they turned it into the game's main gimmick, the smell-o-vision, which is a quite contradictory naming now that I think about it. When we enter a smell-o-vision, we see the world from a first-person perspective, and we can see all the colored smells we have to collect in each level. Each color serves a different purpose, with most of them unlocking access to the game's various minigames. Collect all the smells, and you can challenge the local dog to a vicious fight to the death. By that I mean that we can try various activities like marking our territory, digging holes in a certain path, or playing tug of war. They all are extremely simplistic, and the more bones you have, the easier they get, so they act more as a distraction from the game's main loop than anything truly substantial. And you're gonna need those distractions because the game can get draining for various reasons. First of all, the fact that smell-o-vision is such an integral mechanic to the game makes it so we have to spend the majority of our time in first-person Batman detective mode. This is less than ideal, because this mode mutes the colors and limits our field of view. Secondly, controlling Jake is an absolutely miserable experience. He controls like a tank, he jumps in an arc, the camera sucks, and the controls are so unresponsive that he pretty much does whatever he likes whenever he likes, just like a real dog. Really frustrating, especially during the more precise platforming segments, not to mention that you have to feed him every now and then, otherwise he gets tired and his walking speed slows down to a crawl. Yeah, because this game wasn't unwieldy enough. But if you manage to push through all the flaws, the gameplay is pretty decent for the absurd premise it's presenting. And I didn't even mention the best mechanic. After you beat a local dog, you can possess it voodoo style to perform tasks that Jake can't do. What? You think I'm kidding? The game literally says you possess their bodies for your dark purposes. Anyway, some dogs are small, some are faster or can jump higher, and others are able to ignore ice physics, which I'm not sure how it works, but I'm still thankful for it. So yeah, even though the minigames and the side quests can get repetitive after a while, the exploration is top-notch and there is a decent enough variety to keep you entertained, at least for a while. Despite my frustrations, playing Dog's Life was actually a relaxing experience, which I appreciated wholeheartedly. If you're looking for a break from all the high-skill, high-tension modern games, then this is the adventure for you. It's refreshing, it's engaging, and an overall fun time, full of creativity and interesting ideas. Plus, you can piss and shit whenever you want with a simple D-pad combination. What more could you need? Man, what a trip that was! Dog's Life is without a doubt a title so bizarre and experimental that it would never be made in today's oversaturated quadruple-A market. But that's exactly what makes it so unique, right? Its one-of-a-kind premise of playing as a dog, combined with its innovative mechanics of smelling shit and exploring a semi-open world, make it a special experience even to this day. Sure, the graphics are dated, the controls are worse than a bitch in Heat, and the ending is not safe for kids, but its interesting minigames, well-realized exploration, and overall atmosphere make Dog's Life a game worth your time. It's a perfect adventure for animal lovers and for those looking for something different than your typical action-adventure platformer. Just don't let the kids play till the end, unless you want to scar them emotionally for life. And that's all I had to say about Dog's Life. Thank you very much for watching, I hope you enjoyed it. Leave a like if you did, comment your thoughts below, and subscribe for more stuff. You know how it goes. You can also support me on Patreon or become a channel member for early access to my videos and other perks. Have a great day, and until next time, take care and have fun.